Hey, everybody, welcome back. Another episode. I've got a wonderful guest for you guys today. The conversation will be very interesting for sure, for sure. Um, if you haven't met me yet or haven't listened to any of the podcasts, for sure, you're going to find out how much I love my food. So this young lady in the studio today, I don't know how it's going to go, guys, because seldom things get between me and my food. Food is life. Life is priority. Ma'am, would you like to introduce yourself?
First of all, Ali, I want to go and say thank you for going and having me here today. And for all the listeners out there, I share the same passion, Ali, for food, okay? Some people, they go and work to go and live. I live to go and eat, okay? Simple as that. But yes, and everyone who listens to this podcast and to go and make it possible, and they're going forward and learning about their health, they're taking the time. And even if they go to one person to go and say how to better their health, we're going to another new generation of people actually biohacking their way to enjoying their food as well as living healthy. Thank you.
That sounds fantastic. I think it's very important to connect food to life, because you literally eat for your body to physically survive. But if that's what we need to do, I think there needs to be an element of quality. There needs to be an element of joy. There needs to be an element of purpose. Look at me going on and on.
Oh, yeah. So, sorry, I didn't introduce myself earlier. So I'm Shirley, and I started Keto Coach as a coaching functional nutritionist last 6 years ago. I was 35 kilos overweight, if you go and check out any of my social media. And that's what brought me to the journey, right? I always loved food. And I was like, I'm not going to try anything until I can enjoy my food. I've done fad diets and stuff. And this what got me into the journey of actually learning what to go through. And one of my first certifications was nutritional keto.
Oh, fantastic. Now that you mention it, I know there's a lot of people who think they know what it is. I got a lot of buddies like, oh, dude, I'm on keto. And I'm like, do you know what that is? Because what people tell me and what I read is sometimes there's gaps. So just to get the conversation going, can you tell us what keto is?
Okay, so the full form of keto is ketogenic, right? And it comes from the derive where the body actually is in ketosis. What most people don't realize that we're all born as babies in ketosis. Breast milk is pure protein and fat. What does ketosis means? That means our body is functioning and burning fat for fuel, not glucose. Then we start the stage where we start relying on carbohydrates and glucose for burning is when we introduce other food groups. But you can still be in ketosis when, say, for instance, we do fasting for Ramadan, we do fasting for Lent, religious purposes. If we work out on a fasted state, it's something very naturally our body goes through ketosis. When we're doing keto diet, now there's different versions on Google. Sometimes Google is your friend, but not always, because it's always trying to sell you something, right? It's trying to sell you the next packaging that comes along with their beliefs and why you should do that or increase that. So there's dirty keto, there's clean keto, there's nutritional keto, and hence when you meet so many people, you go and says, I'm doing keto, and then you meet someone else and they're like, this version is keto, but no, that person told me it's not, and this person told me it is. Yeah. So that's where it comes confusing. So in a nutshell, keto is when you're putting your body in ketosis, back again, and burning fat for fuel.
I like that. But what's happening right now? If we look at average diet of the type of foods that are accessible and easy and the people generally eat, you're working, you're having a long day, you pick up the phone, you order something, and something shows up. So if you're talking to me about a keto type of food, which is proteins and fats, which is basically what we were born into, how is our diet today different?
So I always go and tell my clients this. We're going back to how our ancestors used to go and eat, right? Now, briefly, I'm going to touch when I work with my clients, it's not one diet fits all. So when we go back to eating protein, fat, and carbohydrates from good vegetables, but within a portion, we're going back to our ancestral. We're going back to where we were born and what we used to go and eat without the preservatives, without the package, without complex carbs.
And the processing.
The processing. That's where the damage is today. So when you're talking about protein, like everyone goes and says, oh, grass-fed meat. Does anyone really know? Like, do you know the difference? Grass-fed, like a steak is a steak. Tastes good over here, doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
But the thing
to me,
is, like,
a steak's a steak.
but that's the thing. It's like, not that you need to go and buy grass-fed. It's more expensive. It's not pocket-friendly for everyone. But the thing is, like, okay, then you need the magnesium, you need the nutrients. But then you get all of these, like, beef sticks and beef in a plastic bag. I mean, like, our grandparents would probably, like, roll over and say, what the hell is this, right? But that's what we need to avoid. Like, because lifestyle today is so fast-paced and everything is convenience, like today, we can get every fruit under the sun, even although it's not seasoned.
It's not seasoned. They ship it in.
And they ship it in. But are you really getting any of those nutritional benefits? Are you getting any sustenance for your body? Or are you even causing more damage because it's on the shelf and it needs to last there longer? So when we do...
I don't know, man. Me and vegetables, sorry to cut you there, but me and vegetables, we don't got no good relationship. I think the most interesting thing I read last year, maybe, or the year before, was that broccoli isn't a natural product. Broccoli has been engineered to become broccoli from something else. And I was like, when you're messing with making more vegetables, I know the world is ending.
A lot of the vegetables, so like carrots, if you go and record and you go and see exactly what carrots used to look like, and you do get it in these a lot of the local farms in the UAE, these purple carrots and everything, they sell more expensive, but this is what originally carrots used to look like. Imagine not perfect long nose type of like perfect carrots, like the snowman. No, that's not how carrots used to go and originally go and be. A lot of the vegetables are modified. Hence, I would always go and say, look for local produce. Look for not only produce that doesn't look good, but it's like what is in season and what is easily planted. And can you plant it in your backyard or in your balcony? Then you know it's there. Right? And so I would go and say, yes, winter is coming, but look at UAE locally. You've got a lot of jaggeer. You've got a lot of like the spring onions type of this thing. You've got a lot of the root vegetables. So those ones are really good, and you got them seasonal. And you got local kale and stuff that as well. Why spend so much for engineered, perfect-looking kale?
Oh, agreed.
Agreed.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just gonna turn mush anyways. But I hear what you're saying. Talk to me a little bit more about. Are we talking about a lifestyle shift, or are we talking about a no eat type of list? What am I looking at if I'm looking to get into keto?
So I always go and tell the client, why are you coming to me, right? So Ali, if you don't mind me going and asking, I don't mind me going and telling me, what are some of the health changes that you're probably doing in your current life right now?
As in positive health changes?
Positive health changes.
Nothing. You want it honest, nothing.
Is it like, you're maintaining, okay, I'm going to walk 10,000 steps. Am I, ensuring I have 3 meals a day?
So what I know, I think everybody's body is different. And over many years, I've realized what works and what doesn't work for me.
Okay.
Usually I have a very hectic schedule. I'm very bad with my sleep. I have almost never had regular sleep, time-wise, duration-wise, or even a smooth night. It's always been restless. Relationship with food is, I love food. But having said that, a lot of times I eat out of convenience. So I've been busy the whole day, haven't done anything, and I'll just, whatever is in front of me, okay, you know what? 2 cheeseburgers, let's go. So I don't have time to think about it. Or even if I go home and there's good quality home food, I will overeat because I have been like starving the whole day. And then my body is not deciding to regulate my brain and telling it it's enough, and then I feel like bloated afterwards. What I have done over the past is, and I've ironically enough, I start this at the tail end of winter, and most half of summer I'm even able to continue is walking 5 kilometers outside every day. But that happens for 6 to 10 weeks maybe, and then all of a sudden my schedule's in chaos again, and the whole year is gone. I fluctuate between my average max and my average min is about 10 kilo difference. So I don't have huge extremes on either side, but I've got like a 10 kilo buffer. And right now I'll tell you, I'm 94, 95 kilos right now. Generally, I'm between the 94, 95 to 105. I think the last time I was even close to 90 or 91 might have been high school. Okay. So overall, not good. I'll tell you straight up, not good.
No, at least you're doing some few changes.
Yeah.
But, I was 35 kilos overweight, right? Like, and let me go and tell you. So, the one thing when you say like there's really good food and you can't control and you overeat because you're not having it, it's because at that point you're increasing a hormone called ghrelin hormone.
Gremlin. Did you say
Ghrelin.
I got a gremlin inside, people. The hungry gremlin. Did you say gremlin?
It's ghrelin, and honestly, I call it the Cookie Monster hormone. Okay, because
like it.
And the reason I call it the Cookie Monster is because you've seen Cookie Monster. There's no stopping. It's like one cookie. It doesn't matter what follows the. No, you're gonna like keep
Yep.
on, and there's no. And then you're just like Cookie Monster. You're like, that's it. Brain dead, brain fog, and this is how it affects your mental energy, right? So if I was to go and push you onto ketos, I would first go and say, let's try, but be committed for a period of 4 weeks.
That's not bad. 4 weeks,
Right?
not bad.
I always go and tell the client, taper on for 4 weeks because it's a lifestyle change.
Okay.
It's not a diet. So I start going, so you want to go and have a burger? You're like, Shirley, I need a burger. I'm like, all right, let's go to XYZ down the road. Let's minus the bun. Let's minus the ketchup. Let's have it in lettuce. Let's have your mayo. Let's have your cheese. Have a bunless burger. So
Wait, I'm just trying to
So-
think what's left. So you want me to have a steak? That's what you're telling me. You took everything else out.
I took everything else out, but
So
then it
it's steak
still
and
gives you
salad?
the flavor. It still gives you that flavor.
I'm good with steak and salad every day.
So yeah, so that's the thing. And you're like, oh, okay, if I need to do so, there's small changes that I'm going to do incorporate your diet where I'm actually going to make protein and fat. Now a lot of people have this misconception of keto. It's like add fat. I can't stand fat. Like this much of cheese and this much of let's drizzle everything with olive oil and there's like slabs of butter. No.
Not this.
No, keto is a high fat diet because calorie wise, 1 gram of fat is 3 calories and 1 gram of protein is 1 calorie.
Okay. That makes sense.
So when people go into keto and they're like, oh, I'm losing weight, I'm sick. I can't eat this food. It's because they're eating so much of cheese and all
They're
these
eating the wrong-
fatty
they're doing the
meat
wrong
and
weight.
so much of processed like sausages and this. They're not feeling good because they're not choosing the right food.
Okay.
So rather than going to a bunless burger at McDonald's, which is like emergency, you can still have it, I would go and say go to another more decent restaurant and then go and choose a bunless. Like even Five Guys. Five Guys is like amazing burger. There's no process and they go and say that. So and especially in the UAE, convenience, like with what can be delivered, what's around the corner, with few removals, you can be on keto.
Okay, I like it. So we're getting rid of mostly the carbs.
You're getting rid of like processed carbs.
Processed carbs.
So you're getting rid of lentils.
Yep.
All right. You're getting rid of root vegetables, anything that grows under the ground. So you're talking about modified carrots and potatoes and stuff
Okay.
like that. You're getting rid of that. You're trying to go up your quality of your protein based on season. So you like a steak, have a steak now and again, but don't forget the seafood. Like we're in the Middle East, the
Yes.
ozone, the heat. We're blessed over here with like really good local safi, the seafood, and there's a reason why it's around over here and why the climate is like that. So
Yeah.
enjoy that. Tradition goes and tells you all of this in the weekend, but the problem is we've not followed tradition.
Yes.
And then we have traditional food, and we say, "Oh, traditional food is making me fat." No, sweetheart. It's like it's years of damage, the week damage, and then going on that. So that's
Good.
how
I want to talk to you a little bit more about pre-existing health conditions. I've got a buddy of mine, actually a few friends of mine, who are diabetic, and it just wasn't being managed until they tried keto, and now they're swearing by it. You can share a little bit more on that.
So if you do go and see in some of my handles, I work a lot with pre-diabetic, so insulin resistance type 2. It is a proven fact. There are studies already, and I work with several doctors over here. Now, can you do the normal keto diet for type 2 diabetes? It really depends, no, because you need to have still more carbohydrates, but slightly in the different range of the food group. So each person is different. Can it reverse type 2? Yes.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something really interesting, right? Type 1 is not reversible.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a weird question. How hot do you think Halle Berry is?
Halle Berry hot.
Halle Berry is hot. Do you know how long she's been on keto? Take a wild guess.
Don't ruin it for me.
Take a wild guess. How long has she been?
10 years, maybe?
She's been 35 years managing her diabetes through keto. And so, I mean, you probably Google this right after to go and be sure. But yes, it is. And she markets it. She goes and says it.
When did she start? When she was 2? Like, that woman don't look 35 to me.
The woman is 50.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly. There is
I
good fun.
Wow. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Very cool. So definite advantages for somebody who's type 2 diabetic or pre-diabetic. So like you said, I know even though it's called a keto diet, but we just talked earlier about how it being essentially a shift, a lifestyle shift. Yeah. Downsides? What are the downsides? Aside from me missing donuts.
So the thing is, like, when most of my clients come to me, they come for a goal. Right?
Okay.
So I've got a wedding to attend to. I've got a family occasion. Now I've got Christmas or Eid or whatever. So I'm like, okay, you want to lose it? Let's do 4 weeks. I don't make them go and commit. And then I go and catch up for the next 4, because your body's changing. In 4 weeks, you're going to be having lunch and dinner. Then you're like, surely I'm not hungry, but I'm good not hungry. Because the ghrelin hormone, the Cookie Monster, is asleep. Okay, there is something else called the leptin hormone that goes and increases. So what goes and happens after you have your dietary fat, your body starts using your own body fat for fuel. It's like a literal shift from like burning diesel, you are finally on functioning proper petrol.
Nice.
So that's the shift, right? Like, when I explain to my male clients, they understand this. They're like, oh yeah, I want to be efficient. Like, I want to be on the right fuel and efficient. And this is, so the keto has been introduced a lot in terms of military camps already. There are studies that are going showing the benefits, not only because when you tap into your fuel, for fat, your own body fat. So you're removing a lot of toxins when you're in that ketosis phase. So that's burnt out because, our cells hold memories. They hold more on the toxins from preservatives of everything is a wrapper. It's bad for you when you go and make the wrapper sound and your dog is coming. you know it's bad for you, right? Like this is your indication. That is our food, right? But so the military, they go and do it because it actually helps with the brain clarity. So most of my clients, after 4 weeks, they're like, I'm not missing the donut. They're like, I feel so good. I am sleeping so good.
Fantastic.
Right? It increases things like the ability to go and like work out. Surely I've never thought about like working out in so long. I walked like this much with my kid. I actually could run. I'm fitting up in jeans. I really love this pair of jeans. We all have that pair of jeans in the back of the closet. I looked so good in that. I'm going to fit back into that. They're like, I'm fitting into this. I want to continue this because they feel good, right? It increases their sex drive. It increases their ability to go and function better at work. They're like, I'm more efficient. I want to continue. So later you want your donut. Like for me, come every Eid, it's a nostalgia thing. I was born and brought up in Bahrain. And it's a nostalgia thing when it comes to Eid. I need to have lugamat. Okay, that's the mini Arab donut. Like if y'all people do not know what it is like brilliant. And so I am gonna have it. I can't be Halle Berry, so that's why hence I don't look like Halle Berry. But at the end of the day, I am healthy. I don't have diabetes. I was insulin resistant. I was borderline cholesterol, my high blood pressure. And this is a family history. But I realized I was diagnosed with these symptoms much more younger than my parents. Yeah. And that's happening today at generations.
We're seeing that. We're seeing younger and younger people getting diseases that we thought were only for old people.
And, there's different specific hospitals that are just open just for that. So I think going and ensuring when you're doing, it's not only the weight loss, and why do I go and say nutritional keto is better, and why the 4 weeks is because the transition period. And if after 4 weeks, some people, they do come back and they go like, Shirley, I really enjoyed this, but I think it's a little bit difficult for my lifestyle, then we can go to Primal. So I'm Primal certified, which your body is already tapped into burning fat for fuel, but you still get good carbs, which makes it easier. So if you want the rice, okay, I'll tell you to go and switch to not the regular white rice that's been processed and like refined and bleached and to look white.
Yep.
I'm talking about red rice, wild rice, the fat rice, this thing. So include that. And then people are like, oh yeah, okay, because your taste buds change.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's lovely. You brought up primal, so I want to tangent a tiny bit, more, not less tangent, more pivot. Talk to me about biohacking, because this seems to me very much along the lines towards that direction where we're like, you know what, we know the system. Let's figure out how the system works, and then let's optimize on how we run the system. And just before we were recording, we were talking about the book I had read by this gentleman. I think the same guy who came up with the butter coffee thingy, right?
Bulletproof coffee.
Bulletproof coffee.
Yeah.
My bad, that one. So I read the first time I was going through that, I was like, wait, what? And then a couple of pages later, what? You can what? I don't understand this. So talk to me a little bit more about the whole biohacking perspective on things.
So biohacking is huge, right? Like when we were talking about it, there are so many different things today. And we're literally going back to how ancestors, like we are just paying extra money to go and live how our ancestors used to, right? Like that's all that is happening. Like, like my glasses, like EMF in terms of radiation, the screens and stuff like that, because now it's nighttime. Because like you, I used to suffer from sleep, but we're always on our mobiles. Like you're here, these lights and everything. So that's probably one of the reasons you don't get to sleep, because when you work for yourself and you're doing your own things and your interests,
always
working,
working, always busy.
Yeah, like there is no cutoff. So how do you switch and go and says, okay, fine, it's bedtime, I want to sleep, but your body's not a machine, right? So in biohacking, it is, so basically you're taking your bio, so it means everything natural, you're hacking into it for, as you go and says, first of all, to reverse aging. So everyone goes and loves this. So aging, when we say, it's not only in terms of your skin and looking 10 years, 20 years younger, it's your biological age. So you can go to the hospital, and there's a lot of testing centers already in UAE. And instead of saying you're going 40, you're going to say your biological age is 28. And you're going to say, oh, that's brilliant. So it means your organs are much more functional compared to everything else. There is like products which are naturally derived, like peptides. There are a lot of like online, I'll send you a whole list of people that I work with, like online, like NMN and stuff like that. Bulletproof coffee, would I go and tell everyone to go and include it? Yes. But I'm talking about grass-fed butter.
So it's bigger. It's just bigger than the one singular thing.
Yeah, the people is like, oh, bulletproof coffee, I'm going to lose weight. Yeah, they're going to fit. But what type of butter? Because Lure Park, if you go and read on the label,
that's not
is
butter,
75% canola oil.
Yes, it's more oil than butter.
Yeah, and what is canola oil? Canola oil was actually invented as, if you go back to like history, was invented for car fuel. So it's completely processed. So we're talking about good grass-fed butter. We're talking about coconut oil, because coconut oil has the C8 or C10 caprylic acid, and which is only found in breast milk.
Wow, didn't know it was also coconut.
That's the only flavor. So you got proper MCT, proper coconut oil, MCT oil, which you probably heard, and you add that to your coffee. You're talking about Mother Nature's boost right up there, right? Like without being, I'm going to drink milk every single day, right? Because that is not going to give you, you're not a baby cow, so you can't go and drink milk, and we can't go back to our mothers and say, please give me this nutrient. But there's coconut oil. So add that, do a bulletproof coffee, yeah. And then you won't have the Cookie Monster awake all the time.
I like the Cookie Monster.
So once you come to biohacking with your food,
yeah,
then we're talking about biohacking for your health. And that could be like sound therapy, radiation, eye spots, red light therapy. These devices, which are now available in the gyms, you can buy the devices. Completely off there, and then you've got peptides which are naturally derived, like NMN and a few others as well, which I, based on the client's cholesterol or fertility or this thing, add those, increase that, because then you're just increasing that hormone, which no side effects.
I was just about to ask.
Zero side effects. So that's the whole. This is why it's biohacking. Right?
Fantastic.
So yeah.
Great. This is very, very useful information. But I always like asking this question just for the, for the sake of people who are listening, who are like, okay, this is great information, but what do I do with it? So where and how do we get started?
When any client goes and comes to me, I always go and say it's a personal journey of what they want to achieve. And at the end of the day, you don't have to do everything. It's about your health. I'm going to share some personal story, if you don't mind.
Please.
Recently I lost my father at 84.
Sorry for your loss.
something that's made me realize, like, more than anything else, health comes first. And I think, we can work, we can go and get the money, we're going to spend. But when you're sitting down in that room, you're, my dad is 84, he's a very good age, touch wood. For a short time, I'm like, you would pay anything to go and help someone in that health issue. So your health is not only for you, and you're like, biohacking, the age and everything is not only for you, it's for the people that you love around you. So when someone comes to me and I'm like, it's not about getting these 10 products, getting these fancy glasses, and I'm like, oh, I'm a biohacker now. No. Like, take your journey step by step, right? Like, you're working hard right now. Like, you're round the clock, you're this thing, you like, come winter, this is what I'm going to do. Like, push yourself. Okay, one more thing. I read that. I think these are the points. So anyone listening from this podcast can, drop us questions down, and then we can talk about it more. Take that one thing, research more on it, and start that. They don't need to go and do all the different stages. Okay, I'm going to start very strict keto. I'm going to start this thing. But do a little bit of research, and do one single change will lead you to the next change. Talking about it, you'll find the community. The universe is going to bring you around to those same people. And, the brilliant part about UAE, there is a biohackers club. I would love to go and invite you next time. You'll meet a lot of the other people that actually from Germany. They've got the devices, the proven studies, the records. You're talking about energy. You're talking about your testing your metabolic age, everything, right? And so people want to come. Like we can list out these different seminars. But sometimes someone goes and says, "Just tell me what to do." Okay, let me break down their lifestyle, and we just start with their health. And if they just start with their health in terms of working out and clean food, I'm not even talking about keto, I'm talking about clean food and incorporating a bit of workout here and there, depending on what suits their body. I'm not talking about cardio, it's not for everyone. Sometimes a little bit of strength training, take a couple of stairs up to your building office or whatever. That's it. You start there.
There's always skeptics out there, but I think what I want to kind of touch upon is, how soon am I looking at to get results? Because I know a lot of people like, I don't know. I don't want to try it. I don't know. If I'm talking to a friend of mine, I'm like, okay, you got to go try this. And you're going to feel a difference in how many weeks are we saying?
2 weeks.
Just as fast as 2 weeks.
As fast as 2 weeks. You're losing weight literally from the first 3 days.
Wow.
On keto, you're losing weight literally within 3 days. Past the 10 days, you are smooth riding. The first 10 days is killer. I'm not going to lie.
10 days isn't too bad. 10 days on a rough patch isn't too bad to get to the other side. That's not bad at all if you think about it.
Don't forget, a lot of us have already built habits. That 4 p.m., I'm going to go for the Snickers bar, and I'm going to go for this, and this is my juice time. And, you don't realize all of this hidden sugars that have the glycemic spike. So your body's run on routine. It's like, where's my sugar? So you're talking about there is a term, hangry.
Oh, we're going to get hangry 10 days?
Yeah, there 10 days. If you don't go and substitute with, like, instead of that sugar, that quick little fix, and if you don't have, like, a quick bunless burger available. So prep is obviously going to be your most important thing for the 10 days. And then after that, you're good.
Okay, that's 10 days is not bad at all. I've gone to the gym after a long time and I got body aches for weeks.
No, I'm telling you.
So 10 days is not bad at all as a trade-off. I think that's more than fair. That's more than fair. Great, fantastic. Anything to watch out for? Any
keto products? Oh my God.
Okay, there you go. I was just going to ask, anything that's just kind of like scammy and people are just taking advantage?
There is so when I started keto when I started and I had my own coach was like about seven years ago. And when I was going through my journey, there was no such thing as keto products or keto delivery, nothing, right? So I had to really do the basics because she was based out from the States. And, but now this is keto and that's keto. I'm like, short of a toilet brush, everything is keto, right? Like, I kid you not. And when you look at the ingredients, they have like rice flour and they've got all of this, like people, no matter what lifestyle you choose, start reading the label. What are you putting in your body? Like, seriously. Like, take a look. And then when you can't understand it, and you can't pronounce it, just drop it.
I like if you can't pronounce it, drop it.
Just drop it. Just put it back where it is.
Sounds fair. Fair.
So that's a simple thing. So just because it's labeled keto,
Okay.
it doesn't mean it's keto.
I always operate with the concept of path of least resistance. How most conveniently and easily can I, chart this path, right? So easier to kind of just start reading about keto and then try to figure it out, or easier to work with a coach? What's my path of least resistance?
See, all of us, the reason why there's more nutritional and functional nutritionists, and some of us are very straightforward in going and saying we're doing nutritional keto, and there are some people who look at keto as taboo, but there's still a lot of nutritionists that just change your diet and tell you what you eat and are still giving you keto.
Okay.
And says, I did a diet like that. My doctor went and gave him, like, you were doing keto, but you were doing what they told you to eat, and that's not how. The least resistance, I would go and say any person needs to go and figure out what works for them. Like, you like a steak, but not everyone eats beef, right?
Agreed.
Not everyone goes and likes that. No, not everyone has the opportunity of eating late at night. So then you work it on terms of your lifestyle. What is your convenience? If you're stuck here, like, Chitex is going on or exhibitions are going on, how do you order food and what you order?
Okay.
Very simple as that. So you can get like sashimi on the go. You can get some amazing Iranian kebabs with no preservatives and breads over there, which I really love, which are flavorful. I don't like steak on a delivery. I'd rather have it then and there.
Yes, for sure.
So that's me personally. A good sea bass at a good, cafe restaurants and stuff. You can go and get that. And who doesn't like chicken shish though? Like, seriously.
There you go.
So
we got options.
You got options.
Okay, this is good. So this is I think the other thing that always troubles people is, hey man, I want to try it, but there just aren't enough convenient options, and I can't be stuck in meal prep.
That's where the coach goes and comes in. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, how do you adapt to this lifestyle? This is what's happening, and especially when you're in that moment, you're really hungry. Women go through different hormonal phases and cravings and stuff like that. So again, what do they eat for each stage of their cycle? Men go through burnout of work, they work, and they go to the moment. So there is male PMS, it's real. And how do they feed their body during that period of exhaustion and get back to that level? It's based on their nutrients. So our bodies are not a machine, it's like you have to go step by step to go on this thing. It's not a machine going to says, okay, I'm going to eat like 500, I'm going to follow this every single day and I'm going to keep on losing weight. No, because you're going to have something. You're going to have a brunch. How do you eat? You can enjoy a brunch. For those who drink alcohol, they can still have alcohol. Those who enjoy certain flavors, local, home-cooked food. And the best part about it is, because I deal with a lot of female clients, is that they're cooking the same for the family.
Oh, nice. So we're not cooking separate meals.
No, you're enjoying the same thing. There are certain times husband says, okay, my husband's got pizza. I'm like, okay, what's your backup? And there's cauliflower base, there's mozzarella, there is the meats, the mushroom, a little truffle, olive oil. And she's like, they ate my pizza. It smells good. They forgot their own pizza. This is what happens when kids
nice.
go
Then you get the whole family in on it without them realizing. I like this. I think this perspective is important. Because no matter what you pick up on the Insta web and whatnot, and looking at people talking about various things, it's always a miracle solution, and it's always all this. And then people try and it doesn't work, and then they try again and it doesn't work, and then they do these rubber band type of diets and their whole life, and they just end up being frustrated. I think the key takeaway for me is we're not talking about a diet per se. We're talking about a change of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And the change of lifestyle is something logical because it's taking us back to how we started. The way our ancestors lived on the planet. And it makes sense. If we are biologically created to function that way, we have taken a massive tangent into this whole universe of processed, commercialized food. I know the number of people, you'll be shocked, the number of people I know that every morning have a big bowl of cereal and think that it's healthy. And I keep telling them, guys, you know how much sugar is in that? You cannot start your day with that much sugar and expect not to crash an hour and a half later. No, dude, but it's cereal. Cereal is healthy. And like you said, if it's got sugar or whatever on the label, and then a bunch of things you can't pronounce, put it back.
You probably need to cut this off the podcast, but I don't know whether you've heard the story about Kellogg's and why he actually came up with Kellogg's.
Of course I know the story of Kellogg's. I tell people and they're like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, yes, Kellogg's invented cereal for women who are feeling, aroused.
Promos, yeah. And to limit it.
Yes, and the idea was that, to limit this, you should have cereal in the morning. I mean, it's hilarious. The things the guy did was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, his thoughts, but the people don't realize that.
Nope, they don't. They don't. So there's a lot of interesting things I think out there. But for me, the key takeaway is we're talking about a re-engineer of a lifestyle, but surprisingly not a major shift. If you think about what you've told me, doesn't seem major. We're talking about, a 10-day burn before we start to see some results and start to feel better, and a 4-week program and a 4-week cycle to improve or
you
twist
see
or
results
fluctuate.
within the first 3 days.
This is fantastic.
After the first 10 days, your body's already adapting. And once you go to different stages, right? Where you become more fat adapted, which is like you probably read from Dave Sinclair in terms, you get more fat adapted. So it means your body is more efficient in burning. So when you have that occasional donut or lugama or whatever,
doesn't put a dent.
Like say this thing, if you're gonna go have a big meal, you still go and feel a little bit sluggish, but then your recovery is fast.
Recovery is fast
because your body's more efficient. Right?
Fantastic.
And, your opening introduction about love of food, and I'm going to tell you, so for me, it's not steak, but it's lamb chops. A good set of lamb chops. And traditional is like Mandi. Friday was like always this Mandi with like Pepsi and rice. And like Shirley, try to make that keto-fied. And I seriously, that's too, I use the same spices, like you'll get it in Union Co-op. Make a good Mandi, make it a cauliflower rice. Instead of the Pepsi, I go and basically get sparkling lemon, Perrier, and stuff like that. I still feel good. And the tomato sauce is the same. The yogurt is the same. The room smells the same. And the lamb, it just drops off the bone, right? I don't feel like I'm deprived.
I like that.
And I'm not, no one's going and telling you to go and eat only this much. You'll eat to feel full. You'll adapt. You're learning. It's a journey. And that's why a coach might be going helpful. Can someone go and learn this on their own? Yes. Try to go and do the right resources and everything. But I always tell my clients, whether I'm going to be very particular. I want you to communicate a lot more. That's the only way I can help you, because I'm not giving you a diet plan. You want a diet plan, download something for $20. Yeah, don't waste my time. But if you want me to go and help you in a one-on-one coaching or like one of my private focus groups, I was going to say dedicate, post your pictures and everything. Because take that time to go and figure out what works for you, what this thing. Just because dairy is good for your friend doesn't mean you can handle the dairy. Just because nuts is good for somebody else doesn't mean it's good for you. Just because cruciferous vegetables is good for one person doesn't work for you. So you got to learn and why you're not losing weight. And once you find the tweak of your body individuality, then the journey is perfect.
Oh, I like that. So customized plan, tailored to your body, lifestyle re-engineering, near immediate results. I think at this point, there's no excuse not to try it.
Yeah, no.
I like that. Thank you so much. Just to wrap up, can you just share how we can reach out to you, how the audience can find you, your socials, your webs, whatever's.
Okay, so I'm on Keto Coach DXB, both on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm also partner to food deliveries, this thing, which is actually done by 2 of my clients. So we look at the processed oils, etc. It's called Meal to Heal AE. But if you have any questions on the podcast, go and send it to like Ali or myself, and I'm more than willing to go and help you out on that. Because so when I do in terms of keto coach, I am not only a keto coach, I'm also primal and low carb. Sometimes based on the consultation, which I offer for free in the beginning, and I get where a client is or where the person is in their journey of health or weight loss. I get somebody, can you make me lose 5 kilos in 2 weeks? I'm like, thank you, but that's not. There is ways, but that's not what I'm talking about. So, and there's other people for religious factors that need to have certain items or avoid certain items. So we work around that, and we have different lifestyles. So hit me up on Keto Coach DXB.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. This has absolutely been great. Guys, appreciate you listening in again. You can drop a DM on our podcast channels or reach out on any of the channels. I will have a little brief description thingy on the bottom with the socials linked up. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.